give me a second. Eventually, my breathing would return to normal and that chest feeling would subside. So when it appeared on that New Year's Eve run, I was frustrated but not alarmed. Then my chest exploded. First, a detonation in my ribs. Then waves of hot pain came streaming out from behind my lungs like lava from a volcano. Molten agony seared up over my left shoulder, down my arm to the tips of my fingers. I stopped running. Along with the burn, there came a crumpling constriction, as if my chest was trying to fold itself into a smaller person. Also, a wave of nausea that leaked out from my body and soured everything I could see. The sky darkened and curled at the edges, like paper on fire. I felt drenched in impending doom, an all-encompassing state of ill-being. The air tasted ominous. It took me around 30 seconds of weighing the evidence before deciding to go home. On one hand, the left one in particular, I appeared to be experiencing exactly the sort of things you might expect while suffering a massive heart attack. But on the other hand, that was the sort of thing that only happened to other people. Besides, we had old friends coming for dinner. I was looking forward to a fun evening. It would be preposterous to have a heart attack now. I had already prepared the salmon. Then I remembered Eric Rink. One Sunday morning in Cape Town, 12 years before I was born, Eric Rink had gone to play golf, as he often did at the weekend. He always returned in time for lunch. But on this particular Sunday, lunch went cold on the table. Eric never came home. His heart had stopped. He was 45 years old. His daughter, my mother, was 14 at the time. My maternal grandfather's absence had always been a vague presence in my life, a story only half told. I knew that he had been an aerial photographer in the Second World War, taking reconnaissance pictures of bomb sites, that he was born Eliyahu Rinkunsky into the large Jewish population of Lithuania, that the surname had been truncated by a South African immigration official when the family emigrated in the 1920s. The name Eric was chosen later. The rebrand was suggested by his wife, Dinah, my grandmother, after the war when Ellie, as he continued to be known to family, set up a commercial photography studio. He had a blue Ford Prefect with Eric Rink Portrait Studios painted down the side in red. He and my mother had been close. He had sometimes taken her to the studio and taught her how to develop prints in the darkroom. I knew that she was the same age as my own daughter when she lost him. It was enough information to steer me into a U-turn and send me loping and staggering back up the hill towards home. I remembered that heart attacks were exactly the sort of thing that sometimes happens to middle-aged men like me. My wife drove me to the hospital. I pressed my back hard into the passenger seat and gripped the door handle. I wound down the window, hunting the oxygen that refused to enter my lungs. We stopped at the red light. "Ambulances are allowed to ignore these," I said, unhelpfully. The hospital was no more than 15 minutes away. I told myself I was not going to die because I would soon be in front of a doctor, and medical science had come a long way since my grandfather's day. It occurred to me that there is a moment when every parent sees their children for the last time, and that mine might already have passed that morning. I didn't remember what I had said. It wasn't goodbye. There are no good heart attacks, but some are worse than others. Mine was a major obstruction to the left anterior descending artery, the main pipe supplying the left ventricle, which pumps oxygenating blood to the vital organs of the body. Somewhere inside that pipe was a plaque caused by cholesterol deposits that had built up over years, a fatberg. It split open as I was running down the road and clogged the artery. My blood cells then tried to be useful and formed a clot at the site of the rupture, which compounded the blockage. If you're lucky, a heart attack is a traffic jam on one of the B roads of the arterial network. By the time I reached the hospital, I had blocked both carriageways of the M25. Old-school cardiologists call it the widowmaker. The longer you leave it, the higher the risk of ventricular fibrillation, where the heart muscle goes into spasm and, if not treated quickly, stops beating altogether. You then need someone to sit on top of you, compressing your chest until an electrical defibrillator can be applied. 2 paddles, administering up to 1,000 volts.